Have you ever wondered why some seniors stay healthy well into their 80s, while others face serious health setbacks just after 60? Could the answer lie in something as simple as a few overlooked vaccines? Most people think vaccinations are only for children, but the truth is, after 60, your immune system weakens, making certain diseases far more dangerous than before. So, which vaccines are truly essential? Which ones are quietly recommended by doctors across Europe and North America? And why do so many seniors miss them? In this video, we'll uncover the life lesson shots every senior should consider. Backed by science, motivation, and real-life insights that reflect elderly wisdom. Watch until the end. You might be surprised by what's missing from your health plan. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more trusted guidance on senior health and inspiration. The vaccine you should know about is the shingles vaccine, because pain shouldn't be your companion in retirement. What if a single shot could save you from months, sometimes years of burning pain, nerve damage, and sleepless nights? That's the reality behind the shingles vaccine. Yet so many seniors either skip it or don't even know it exists. Shingles, caused by the reactivation of the varicella-zoster virus, the same one responsible for chickenpox, affects 1 in 3 adults during their lifetime, and the risk increases sharply after 60. The older you get, the more likely the virus will come back, but not as a harmless rash. Shingles can lead to a complication called postherpetic neuralgia, PHN, where the nerve pain continues long after the rash dissipates. For seniors, this isn't just about discomfort. Chronic pain affects mobility, independence, and mental health. According to the CDC, adults over 60 who receive the shingles vaccine reduce their risk of developing shingles by over 90% and PHN by 85%. That's more than just numbers. That's quality of life. Take Elizabeth, 72, from Calgary, Canada. 2 years ago, she ignored her doctor's advice to get the shingles vaccine. "I just didn't think it was necessary. I felt fine," she recalls. But a year later, she developed a rash that quickly turned into blinding nerve pain along her side. For 6 months, she struggled to get dressed, couldn't sleep through the night, and had to cancel her yoga classes indefinitely. It felt like a hot wire running through my ribs. She said, "I regret not listening sooner." Elizabeth's story isn't rare, and that's the point. Many seniors don't fear shingles until it's too late. Fortunately, the Shingrix vaccine, currently the most effective shingles vaccine, requires just 2 doses and is approved for adults over 50, but especially recommended after 60. Side effects are typically mild, soreness at the injection site, low fever, or fatigue lasting a day or 2. So if you've had chickenpox before, and chances are, if you're over 60 you have, then shingles isn't a maybe. It's a win. And the vaccine? It's your best line of defense before it hits.
The pneumococcal vaccine is next.
Protect your lungs, protect your life. How often do you worry about pneumonia? Most people don't until it happens. But for seniors, pneumonia isn't just a bad cold. It can be deadly. Pneumococcal disease is caused by Streptococcus pneumoniae, a bacterium that can lead to pneumonia, meningitis, and bloodstream infections. For seniors, these aren't minor illnesses, and according to the World Health Organization, pneumonia is one of the leading causes of death among adults over 65, particularly those with existing conditions like COPD, diabetes, or heart disease. The pneumococcal vaccine is designed to protect against these complications. There are 2 main types, PCV13, Prevnar 13, and pipe vaccine 3, depending on health status. Together, they cover up to 36 strains of pneumococcal bacteria. Now meet Martin, 67, a retired bus driver from Manchester, UK. Martin had always considered himself healthy. Didn't smoke, walked daily, no major health concerns. But one winter, after visiting his grandchildren who had colds, he developed what felt. After a week in hospital and months of recovery, he now tells everyone over 60, get the shot, don't wait to learn the hard way. His doctor later confirmed that a pneumococcal vaccine could have reduced the severity or even prevented the illness altogether. What's critical to understand is that pneumonia in seniors isn't always obvious. Sometimes the first symptom is confusion or weakness, not a cough. And recovery can be slow, affecting long-term independence. That's why vaccines matter. They prevent what you might not see coming. Most countries in Europe and North America offer the pneumococcal vaccine free or at low cost for seniors over 65. It's a 1-time or 2-time series, not an annual routine, making it one of the simplest yet most powerful steps in elderly health protection. The third vaccine is the flu vaccine. The one you need every year, not just some years. If you think the flu is just a seasonal inconvenience, think again. For older adults, influenza can turn deadly fast. And yet, it's often underestimated. Each year, thousands of seniors are hospitalized due to complications from the flu, including pneumonia, heart attack, stroke, and worsening of chronic conditions like asthma and diabetes. According to the CDC, 70–85% of seasonal flu deaths in the U.S. occur in people 65 and older. The reason? An aging immune system responds more slowly and less effectively. That's why standard flu vaccines aren't always enough. Thankfully, special formulations like the high-dose flu vaccine, Fluzone High Dose, put us super seniors, providing stronger protection and longer-lasting immune response. Let's talk about Geraldine, 79, from Dublin, Ireland. Every winter, she would get what she called a little seasonal bug. But 3 years ago, what started as a light fever turned into full-blown influenza. She ended up in intensive care with low oxygen levels and post-flu pneumonia. It felt like I was drowning in my own body, she recalls. Now vaccinated every autumn, Geraldine hasn't missed a season since. I didn't realize the flu could actually kill someone my age. I thought that was just an exaggeration on the news, she admits. Her son now drives her to the clinic every year as part of their fall routine. The flu vaccine isn't perfect. It changes each year based on circulating strains, and effectiveness varies, but even in a low-match year, it can reduce the risk of severe illness, hospitalization, and death. And that's the point. It's not just about avoiding a cough. It's about protecting your lungs, heart, and long-term independence. For the elderly, motivation to stay healthy goes beyond just living longer. It's about protecting the ability to walk, cook, read, remember, and engage. That's why the flu shot isn't optional. It's essential. Every fall, schedule it like you would a doctor's checkup or holiday gathering. Your future self will thank you. As we step further into our 60s and beyond, the conversation around health changes. It becomes less about curing and more about protecting, guarding the independence we've worked a lifetime to build. And while shingles, pneumonia, and the flu are widely acknowledged threats, there are quieter dangers many seniors don't think about until it's too late. That's why today we're exploring the other half of the vaccine story. 3 more preventable risks that, if ignored, can silently shape the quality of our final decades. Let's begin with one that surprises most people, simply because they thought they left it behind in childhood: tetanus. For Dennis, 71, it was an ordinary Saturday. He was trimming roses in his Boston garden, something he'd done 100 times. One careless movement, one rusty thorn, and suddenly he found himself in the ER with a deep gash on his palm. The doctor asked a simple question: "When was your last tetanus shot?" Dennis froze. He couldn't remember. "I think I had one in the ADS," he offered, unsure. That uncertainty, as it turned out, was dangerous. He was given a Tdap booster immediately, but the moment stayed with him. Many don't realize it, but immunity to tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis fades over time. The booster shot, commonly known as Tdap, is recommended every 10 years, yet a huge number of seniors haven't received it in decades. Tetanus doesn't care how small the wound is. It lives in soil, dust, and rusted metal. And once it enters the bloodstream, the consequences are horrific. Locked jaw, body-wisest muscle spasms, even death. It's rare, but it's real, and entirely preventable. Diphtheria and pertussis are quieter, but no less threatening. The first can lead to respiratory failure. The second, commonly known as whooping cough, is still circulating today, and it's particularly dangerous for seniors with weakened lungs or those who spend time with infants, who are especially vulnerable. For grandparents, staying up to date. But if Tdap reminds us of forgotten childhood threats, COVID-19 has forced seniors into a new kind of vigilance. The pandemic may have changed in intensity, but it hasn't disappeared, and neither has the virus. It continues to mutate, quietly weaving its way through communities, evolving into new variants that bypass earlier defenses. That's why annual COVID-19 boosters, much like the flu shot, are no longer just emergency measures. They're long-term protection plans. Diane, 74, from Los Angeles, had received her initial COVID-19 shots early on. "I felt safe," she said. "I thought I was done." But when the Omicron wave arrived, she hadn't yet updated her booster. What followed was a harrowing 10-day hospital stay with COVID-induced pneumonia. "It wasn't supposed to happen like that," she whispered. "I did everything right until I didn't." Since then, she gets her booster each fall, treating it like her seasonal armor. This isn't fear, it's fact. Studies show that adults 65 and older are far more likely to be hospitalized or die from COVID-19 if they skip boosters. New formulations are released yearly to match the most active variants. Staying protected is no longer about reacting to waves, it's about staying ahead of them. For many, the booster has become part of a broader routine of living responsibly, not anxiously. And yet, while COVID-19 dominates headlines, another respiratory virus has quietly claimed thousands of senior lives each year, often without being named. RSV, respiratory synthetic virus. Sounds technical, almost irrelevant. But the truth is, RSV causes over 177,000 hospitalizations and 14,000 deaths annually among U.S. adults over 65. For years, there was no way to prevent it. Doctors could only manage symptoms. That changed in 2023 when two RSV vaccines, Arepsi and Abrysvo, were approved for use in adults over 60. For Victor, 68, from Denver, RSV wasn't even on his radar. He had mild COPD and assumed the cold he caught in January would pass in a few days. It didn't. Instead, it turned into a violent cough, a fever, shortness of breath. A few days later, he was hospitalized with RSV-induced pneumonia. "I thought it was just the flu," he said. "Turns out it was something far worse, and I had no idea there was even a vaccine." The new RSV vaccines are a game changer. Given as a single dose, they provide protection through peak season. And doctors now recommend them especially for those with underlying respiratory or cardiovascular issues. For seniors living in nursing homes, visiting grandchildren, or even attending regular church services, where exposure is constant, RSV can be the hidden spark that sets off a chain of decline. But now, for the first time, we have a shield. So here we are, 6 vaccines in, 6 layers of defense for a life that's still unfolding. It's not about being invincible. It's about being ready. Vaccination, especially after 60, isn't a political issue or a chore to be ticked off. It's a quiet, consistent act of care for your body, for your dignity, for your loved ones. And the truth is, these decisions don't have to be overwhelming. You don't need to memorize charts or juggle expiration dates. You just need to talk to your doctor. Ask the question, which vaccines am I due for? That conversation alone could add years to your life. Or at the very least, add more good days to the years you already have. In the next part of this journey, we'll talk about what happens after the vaccine, how to manage side effects, how to approach hesitant family members, and what seniors around the world are doing to build healthier, more resilient lives. One decision at a time. But for now, if this gave you something to think about, something worth protecting, go ahead and like this video. And if you'd like more insights like this, filled with elderly wisdom and real-life inspiration, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. As we move through our 60s and beyond, health becomes less about treating illness and more about preventing it, protecting the independence and clarity we've spent a lifetime building. In part 1 and 2, we explored the 6 most essential vaccines for seniors: shingles, pneumonia, influenza, Tdap, COVID-19, and RSV. But knowing what protects you is just the beginning. What truly matters is turning that knowledge into action. And for many seniors, that first step begins not in a pharmacy or clinic, but in conversation with a doctor, a family member, or even with yourself. It's surprising how many older adults hesitate to bring up vaccines during their appointments. Maybe they assume if the doctor doesn't mention it, it's not urgent. Maybe they don't want to take up time. But the truth is, today's primary care visits are short and packed. Your doctor might focus on blood pressure, cholesterol, arthritis, and memory, all in 15 minutes. Preventive care like vaccines often gets missed unless you ask. That's why one simple question can open the door. "Doctor, can we talk about what vaccines I might need at my age?" You don't have to list them. You don't have to know the schedule. Just ask the question. It's your body, your future. Most seniors are surprised to learn they're behind on 2 or 3 vaccinations, not because of neglect, but because no one ever raised the topic. That's what happened to Lucille, 75, from Nottingham. She learned about the RSV vaccine in a casual conversation with a friend. At her next appointment, she asked her doctor about it. Not only had she missed RSV, she also hadn't had a pneumococcal booster in over a decade. "No one had ever brought it up," she said. "I felt embarrassed at first, but then I realized aging doesn't come with instructions. We have to speak up." Once you've had the conversation, the next concern for many is what happens after the shot. Let's talk about side effects. They're real, but they're rarely dangerous. a sore arm, low fever, fatigued, maybe a mild headache. These are signs your immune system is working, preparing, rehearsing for the real thing. Most effects last less than 48 hours. If you're scheduled for a shot, treat that day with care. Don't plan too much. Eat something before, stay hydrated, and keep a mild pain reliever like acetaminophen handy. That's what Gretchen, 80, from Ohio does. She calls it her reset ritual. The day before, she gets her errands done. The day of the shot, she relaxes, reads, maybe naps. The soreness passes, but the peace of mind stays, she told me. Still, not everyone feels that calm at first. For Thomas, 72, it took a hard wake-up call. He had ignored shingles vaccine reminders for years. I still felt young, stay strong, he admitted. But when his neighbor developed severe nerve pain after shingles, everything changed. I realized avoiding the vaccine wasn't helping me stay young. It was keeping me vulnerable. He got vaccinated the following week. It was a small thing, but I slept better that night. That shift from hesitation to action is what this video is about. Vaccines are not a signal that you're declining. They're tools of strength, of self-respect. And sometimes they're a bridge to those we love. Many seniors have children and grandchildren who care deeply about their welfare, but don't always know how to talk about it. So why not invite them in? Ask them to go with you. Let them help you book the appointment. Make it a moment, not a burden. That's what Ruth, 68, did with her daughter Julia. They got their flu and COVID boosters together, then went out for tea and a walk. We turned it into a memory, she said, a shared act of care. These are the moments that echo across generations. Because staying protected doesn't just keep you alive. It keeps you available for dinners, for phone calls, for milestones. It keeps you mobile, engaged, at peace. Vaccines won't make you immortal, but they give you more good days and fewer spent in fear or hospital beds or recovery. So now it's your turn. You've read the stories. You understand the science. You've heard the wisdom from people who chose prevention over regret. Ask yourself, have I had the conversation? Am I protected against what's preventable? Am I ready to protect not just my life, but my lifestyle? Because that's what this really comes down to. More years, yes, but also better ones. The kind where your body doesn't limit you. The kind where you say yes to the garden walk, to the family trip, to one more late-night phone call with someone who missed your voice. And if this video gave you something to think about, if it offered even one small shift in perspective, then go ahead and like it. Subscribe if you want more content grounded in real stories, senior health insights, and elderly wisdom. Because this isn't just information, it's reflection. And that's something worth sharing. Now tell us in the comments, what country are you watching from? What vaccine are you thinking about asking your doctor next time? We're listening, and we're honored to be a small part of your journey.